Let's talk about a fragrance cologne brand that I've been a personal fan of for quite a while here on the channel. This is going to be HK Perfumes. So I personally own probably more than 20 of the HK Perfumes fragrance clones, and they have a really solid variety of the fragrances that they're cloning. So there's probably over 100 clones in their catalog. I know that some clone brands, they only have maybe 15, 20 fragrances that they're cloning, but this has a very wide variety. So anything from the super niche stuff like Boadicea the Victorious or Killian, stuff like that, to the more popular stuff like Dr. Sam, which would be a Creed Aventus clone. You know, a YSL Babycat clone is really good. They make a good one of those. So the big things that usually draw me to a clone brand and really drew me towards HK Perfumes is one, that all of their fragrances are extrait de parfum or higher, meaning they're going to be a very high percentage of the actual fragrance oils, and you're not just buying a bunch of alcohol. So what that usually translates over to, and what I've experienced with the HK Perfumes, is that the performance of these fragrances is going to be either just as good or even sometimes in some cases slightly better than the originals. So either they'll last longer or they'll be a little bit stronger when you spray them. So yeah, very impressed with performance. They have a variety of different sizes. So I own a couple of the small ones, the minis, like 20 milliliters or smaller. And then they have like the 30 mils, the 50 and the 100s. There's a new line that has kind of the new nice fancy bottles here with a fancy metal cap. Great presentation on these new ones, and they actually perform like an extrait de parfum. I know we've all had clone brands where they say, oh, this is an Eau de Parfum or an extrait de parfum, and it doesn't actually perform like that. So been really happy with that. We can chat about a couple of different clones here specifically. Some of my personal favorites are Dr. Sam, which is the Creed Aventus clone. I'm sure all of you have heard of some of the other clones out there, and most of the time the issue that comes up with Creed Aventus clones is the opening is just too harsh. So thankfully, you know, HK Perfumes was able to perfect whatever it was and kind of round out that initial opening spray. So it ends up being a nice, you know, truer to the original type of fragrance there. As I said before, the YSL Babycat one is very good. They have a whole line of all of the ones that are Tom Ford clones. So those are all very solid as well. And I just reviewed this one, which was All the Way, which was one of the Torino 24 clones, which is a really nice tropical, musky, great fragrance. One of the things that they kind of like to lean into and specialize in is focusing on using organic ingredients, using high quality ingredients, and it really does sort of, you know, play into when you smell the actual fragrances, because there are good clones and there are bad clones, and usually it's the bad clones are ones where they end up cutting corners, you know, because this is a whole cost, it's just a money thing, right? So, you know, how much is it going to cost versus how much they can sell it for? These are going to be, you know, a fair price, I would say, but a little bit higher than some of those cheapo clones. They just recently released one that I haven't gotten my hands on yet, but HK Perfumes recently released one that was a God of Fire by Stephanie Humbert Lucas. We all know the mango, the fresh mango tropical fragrance. That's like, again, it's like $300 a pop for a small bottle of it. So no point in getting that. I would recommend looking into the HK Perfumes version and let me know if it's any good. I haven't seen the brand miss at all. And I feel like with clone brands, it's usually, for me, it's about trust. You know, it's about, okay, I know this brand. I know they're usually pretty solid. I know the performance is good. So if I'm going to buy something, I'm going to go with this brand. And that's why I would personally recommend HK Perfumes.